and thanks for joining us on our show, Basic Concepts in the Wisdom of Kabbalah with Dr. Michael Laitman. Hello, hello, hello. On our show, every time we take a different concept from the Wisdom of Kabbalah and try to explain it for a newbie who just started studying in the most emotional way. And today, we'd like to talk about the concept of pleasure and delight. When we think about the pleasures of life, everyone has their daily pleasure that they like. Suppose someone starting the day with a good coffee or cookie. We have many different pleasures in life. Everyone loves pleasure, delight, and also Kabbalah talks a lot about pleasure. And I heard that Kabbalah enables you to reach pleasure that is far beyond what we're familiar with, and that's really intriguing. So my question, when you hear the words pleasure, delight, what do you feel? I feel that whoever wants, whoever's lacking, and receives whatever they're lacking, the feeling of receiving what they're lacking is called pleasure or delight. Kabbalah writes about different very big pleasures. What does it feel like when you reach them? If there's a deficiency, a lack for such fulfillments, and one receives them, then correspondingly he feels great pleasure. And what does it feel like? What is it like? I'm taking a cup of coffee now. And I'll take a sip. And then I'll tell you that I'm going to get pleasure. I'm going to derive pleasure out of it. What does it mean? It means that I have a desire. And this desire now feels that it lacks some kind of fulfillment. And when I will take a sip from this cup, then I'll feel that this desire received what it wanted. That the desire is filled. Yeah, fulfilled. That's called fulfillment, pleasure. And because everything that we see around us, and everything that we can feel, that we can talk about, these are all different measures of deficiencies. Lack, everything is lacking. So we're talking about the entire world, which entirely consists of deficiencies of different sorts. I don't get it. Everything that we can say, can talk about, can see, can feel, these are all different degrees of deficiency. What do you mean? That you're lacking something, whatever it is. Suppose here I have this device, so it has a deficiency to sustain itself, to be in a state of rest. There's a deficiency in the coffee, to feel itself, to remain in the same, to keep itself in the same warmth. I myself consist of plenty of deficiencies. As a human being, deficiencies or lacks that have to do with the mind, the heart, the biological body, different things. So, the whole of nature is actually one big deficiency that consists of an infinite number of forms, different forms of lack. And they support each other, and they're in different kinds of connections between them. And why did you tell me about lack in relation to pleasure and delight? Because fulfillment of a deficiency, of a lack, is felt as pleasure. So how do you define pleasure and delight? I define them as the fulfillment of a lack that previously was felt as a lack, as something that's deficient, and now that it's filled, it's felt as pleasure. Why do you study about pleasure in Kabbalah? Because that's all there is in the whole of nature, in the still, the vegetative, the animate, people, fish, animals, metals, clouds, you name it. It all consists of desire. Desire. the desire to live, the desire to sustain itself. And therefore, the wisdom of Kabbalah, when it talks about desire, it actually talks about the substance of the whole of creation, of the whole of reality. Desire is like a lack, that I'm lacking something. Yeah? That each and every particle of creation has a desire of its own, that it wants to sustain itself, keep itself, maintain itself, and therefore, in that, it's in lack. Kabbalah says that pleasure, it is what operates the person. What does it mean? It means that we, as a biological body, which is very complex, that we don't even know how complex we really are, intricate, consisting of different subsystems, etc., etc. And we're full of different deficiencies, lacks, that each and every cell, each and every organ, each and every thought of mine, desire, inclination of mine, movement, whatever. It is all the inclination to receive a fulfillment for my deficiencies. So when you say that that pleasure operates, activates a person, what do you mean? I mean that I want to receive some kind of fulfillment for my desires, for my lack, and I'm in pursuit of these fulfillments, and when I get them and they fulfill my lack, then in that I feel pleasure. Therefore, my entire life is between a lack, pain, different kinds of running around, running after different fulfillments, pleasures, between good and bad, between lack and fulfillment, between empty and full. Yeah. Now, if I look at life, there are many different things that motivate me besides being in pursuit of pleasure. No such thing. The desire to fulfill myself, realize myself, to prove to others that obviously, this is a desire to fulfill yourself with different kinds of pleasure. For example, concern for my family motivates me, of course, to be able to provide for them, to have what to give them. Sometimes also envy pushes me, drives me. So these aren't necessarily pleasures. It's always pleasure. So if you can explain what that means, give me an example. Suppose to provide for my family. This is what motivates me. That's my fuel. I need to provide for them. I have 4 kids. Meaning the lack of pleasure motivates you to reach pleasure, fulfillment. How did you come to that? You're saying that I have a problem with how to provide for my family. Right, so that motivates me. So you go and search and work and wait for the moment where you get your paycheck, right? And then you get it. No pleasure. When does the pleasure begin? When you have received your paycheck and you can buy groceries by which you can delight your family. Well, it's not that great of a pleasure, but it simply relieves me of this concern. So you see, all in all, we're talking about lack and fulfillment, deficiency and fulfillment in different forms. So where's the pleasure? The pleasure is in that you have a deficiency, to a lack, to feed your family. And when you're able to do it, then it gives you pleasure or fulfillment. Kabbalah also says that a person acts according to the formula of maximum pleasure with minimum effort. This is our nature. Can you explain? We are in the nature of the desire to receive pleasure, and this desire to receive pleasure, it works in a very simple way: to spend as little energy as possible and to get the biggest possible fulfillment, like the rest of nature. And then what follows is that I always think How much do I need to spend? How much do I need to move to spend? How much effort do I need to invest? And what will I get in return for my exertion? I want to share. Sometimes I imagine different things that when I'll achieve them, I'll feel good. But when I reach those things, suppose I want to buy myself something, and I plan and I search in the internet, where can I buy it for the best price? Everything's on the internet. You don't have to leave home. You can order it through whatever, Amazon, doesn't matter. Even if it arrived and it's good, a day or two later, it's sitting at home, but I thought that it's going to make me feel so good, but, it's over. Why? Why is my question to you. But you wanted specifically that thing. Yeah, and it's good, and it came, and I like it, but it no longer gives me pleasure because you have canceled your lack. What do you mean? You wanted to receive some kind of appliance. Usually it's a nice shirt, or, I saw a nice shirt, I bought it. And you wear it, and everyone says, you're really good looking, it makes you look good, it's great. Where did you get it? Sometimes they don't say that. Suppose they do. You walk around, it fills you with pleasure for 2 days. After that, they stop saying that. So what do? Were you to pay people to tell you that you're looking good in this shirt, then you would extend that pleasure a bit longer. The problem is the deficiency, the lack, that you feel no innovation. You need to innovate all the time. It's like with food. I was hungry. I ate whatever I had on my plate. I finished it. But what do I have now? My belly aches. Why did I eat too much? Why did I stop in time? So, pleasure and lack of pleasure are interconnected. And how can we be in a state where we all the time want pleasure, and along with it, how do we all the time fill ourselves with a pleasure? Is it possible? But that would have been good, right? This is exactly what we need to come to. That's called the end of correction. That we've corrected what actually? We've corrected our will to receive, our desire to receive pleasure in a way that the more it fulfills itself, along with it, it feels that it's still lacking. Lacking what? Further fulfillment. Give me an example. In our world, I don't know if there's an example for it. Why? Because all in all, the more you wanted it and you've received it, that's it. You can't fulfill yourself any further. Right. I'm full. But in spirituality, when you work in order to bestow, to give more and give more to other people, and you enjoy giving them, suddenly you discover that you have the ability for endless pleasure, unlimited pleasure. That's really infinite. What's the secret? The secret is that your pleasure is in fulfilling others, and you derive pleasure from it, and that they enjoy it. Meaning you don't cancel your own deficiency, your own lack. And how to put this? The device that you discover for giving you pleasure is divided between you and the other person. And that's why it says, love another as yourself. Ourselves, we love. The others, we don't. But if I reach a state where I treat the other as I treat myself, then suddenly I discover that If I give the other person and give, then by that, or from that, I can really derive pleasure and more endlessly. Why is it endless? Because I'm fulfilling the other person's vessel's desires by my own efforts. Previously, you said something technical, that you divide your vessel of pleasure into two. That's the upgrade. What happens before and after the upgrade? Before the upgrade, I didn't look at the other person. Yeah, I wanted to enjoy life, to get pleasure. Oren, I want. What now? Now, I see that the other person is really a part of me, and then I can give the other person and enjoy. He's fulfilled by what I give him, but the pleasure is entirely mine. In this technology, the pleasure and delight, they don't dissipate? No. Why? Because we're interconnected. By fulfilling the desire of the other person, I feel it as my own desire. And how's that preferable over the desire that I had to fulfill myself previously? Because you felt it as yours. And now you feel the desire of the other person, but you feel it so close that it's like it's yours. And there's a difference between whether you feel your own desire and fulfill it, or you feel the desire of the other and fulfill it. What's the difference? The difference is that there is a difference between you and the other person. You give to the other person, and for yourself, you receive. And then what? And therefore, you can give endlessly, unlimitedly, to the entire world, and to derive pleasure from it infinitely. Why can't I directly get infinite pleasure for myself? You have no such vessels. You don't have such big deficiencies. What can you get? A cup of coffee and a cookie. Bigger things too. To realize myself, have a career, study, develop many things on different levels. I can divide life into different levels. That's what you're trying to do. Right. But I see that whatever I achieve, at some point it becomes ordinary. That's the problem. Things become ordinary. They no longer excite me. It's all gray. Right. Because you stop enjoying the reception. Why? That's how nature is arranged. Nature is arranged in such a way that it wishes to teach you that the real pleasure is in bestowal, in giving, and not in reception. Why? Because reception is limited, and giving isn't. We can see it right in front of us. How much can I eat? A portion, 2, 3, that's it. And to give and enjoy, it's unlimited. But there's a precondition here to want to give you. So there's a problem here, and therefore we study the wisdom of Kabbalah and we convince ourselves that it's good for me to love others, because then we will give all those to all those that are outside of us, meaning the other person, and we'll enjoy it. The only thing that I'm lacking, that I'm missing, is to reach love. Love is the condition for endless pleasure. Yes, that's all there is. Once, on one of your lectures, I heard you say that the wisdom of Kabbalah is called the wisdom of Kabbalah, in Hebrew literally meaning the wisdom of reception, because it teaches you how to receive pleasure and delight. That's exactly what we're talking about now. You see how simple it is, but the trick that you have there, the twist. What I don't get is that Kabbalah says that the purpose of creation is for us to receive pleasure. Give everyone and you will enjoy. So the purpose is to enjoy, right? We consist of the desire to receive pleasure, right? So why don't we receive pleasure? Because you want to use the desire to receive directly, the desire to receive pleasure, to fulfill it directly. And that's impossible, because how much can you receive into the desire to receive? Suppose everything's open. You go out, everything's open. It's like a dream. Restaurants, shops, everything's open just for you. Waiters are waiting, inviting you. Please come in. They're standing outside the restaurant just waiting for you. And everyone. And what are you going to get as a result? Looks like a dream. Looks good. So, it's a childish dream. But there's no pleasure in it. Why? Where does the pleasure go all the time? It can happen only to little children, really, that they don't feel the other person. But afterwards, everything's built based on connection with the other person as we go and grow. So we look at others, etc., etc. In short, it is possible to enjoy only if you give and not if you receive. As irrational as it might sound. In the book of Zohar, it says that all the pleasures that a person can achieve in life, it's like one little drop compared to spiritual pleasures. Right? Can you explain, please? I'll put a plate of what you like in front of you now. What I like eating? Yemenian soup. Great. Yemenian soup with chilbeh. And, pita, Yemenian pita with something inside it. How much you're going to eat? Usually 2 portions. 2 plates. I finished 2 plates, that's it. I'm dying. I can't breathe. So, that's it. And why did you tell me about this? Because there's a limit to pleasure. There's a limit to how much pleasure you can receive this way. So everything is restricted. If you receive directly like this, then there's a limit. No more than your desire. And look at your desire. How much of a desire do you have? Very little. And how can you receive the entire world? I want everything. And what can you do? I want this and I want that. You know what? When I was a child, I thought that I want to be a musician, a composer. But a composer isn't the one that's playing the instrument. It's the writer, the composer. And I want to be an artist. And I also want to write. And, different such things. And how will I eat it all? When will we have time to do it all, right? And how's that possible? By us connecting with each other, and each gives the other whatever he can give. And then what follows is that each of us receives pleasure as though he is a composer and a writer and whatnot. Everyone. It's like I'm instead of all the people in the world that are so creative, that write and enjoy and I don't know what. Suddenly, I look at you and I see that you're a ballet dancer. Hard to imagine, right? But this how it is? We can integrate with all kinds, sorts of pleasure. And then what? You gain the pleasure from everyone, from everything that they do? Of course, and in a real way, because how can I really achieve these things? If we really take a master in whatever profession, then I can enjoy all these things, the peak, the epitome of their profession. So what's the secret? to try to give everyone and accordingly to receive from all these artists. So the love that you develop is like your ticket into the world of pleasure that that person has. Yeah? To the measure to which I give everyone, I actually receive from them. That's why it's called the wisdom of Kabbalah, the wisdom of reception, that it's not just to receive, but when we wish to receive, first we need to love another as yourself. We need to connect. We need to give. We need to come closer. And then, through these people that you connect with, you need to breathe in everything that you have in the world. We'll learn how to do it, we'll do it, and we'll enjoy it. Amen. We're approaching the end, so I'd like to ask, you taught me many things about pleasure. What's the most important thing that I need to remember? That if we will learn how to receive, then we will reach a state where the entire world will be happy, will be glad, because everyone will want to give everyone else in order to enjoy the world through the other person. What kind of world will we have then? A world of good? What will change? The relations between people and the world will seem transparent, that we will see the forces acting in the world, the forces roaming the world and ourselves, that we feel the internality of everyone, the extent to which everyone opens their heart and fulfills everyone. We'll have a life of pleasure and delight, living in one heart. Will we have pleasure and delight there? The uppermost existing ones. What do you wish me personally as a person who just started studying the wisdom of Kabbalah in relation to pleasure and delight? I wish you to receive a true portion of Yemenian soup. And if I'm an Ashkenazian, then you have there some kind of gefilte fish swimming in there. But yeah, but what do you wish in relation to pleasure? To always go for the biggest thing, that if you bestow to everyone, you will receive from everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Laitman. And thank you for being with us. And until next time, all the best.